Hello guys, welcome back to another video here on Our Eyes Your Eyes. I'm ready to tell you all of my opinions and thoughts regarding the new Ojamajo Doremì 20th anniversary side story movie. But before starting this video, I just wanted to remind you to subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell and follow me, because here on this channel you're about to see other reviews regarding anime. Okay, I think this movie was quite surprising because, okay, it's a side story, as I told you, so it's not following any of the Doremi's adventures. But I think this movie was amazing for some reasons and really nostalgic for other reasons. So please keep on following me in this video. The movie starts with one important and simple question. There are Doremi and her friends in front of these three kids, these three baby girls who are going to become the three main protagonists of this movie. And Doremi is asking them, look, when you're about to become an adult, what would you like to become? I think this question is so simple, but it's also so important. I think we have always heard this question in our life, and this question helped us understanding what we would have liked to become in the future and our personal decisions. I will start immediately with some great spoilers, so if you don't want to know anything about this movie, please don't follow the video, and once you will be able to watch it, you can come back and check it out. Doremi here is not the main protagonist of this movie. I'm talking about Doremi and her friends, of course. The Doremi's world is not the main protagonist or the main setting, because here everything is focused on these three women who are amazed by Doremi, who are remembering Doremi as an anime, as a fictional world, as fans. I think this is really nice because usually we go to watch a Doremi movie because we expect to watch something regarding Doremi and her other friends, or we are about to watch an anime movie because we think, oh, okay, we are fans of Doremi, so let's go and watch it and we are going to see something beautiful regarding her. No. In this case, the main setting is the real world. These three women remember what they felt when they watched Doremi 20 years before, or some years before. Of course, probably not 20 years before, because some of them, they are almost 20, so it would be impossible. But let's say that they remember Doremi as an anime and not as something real. This is quite unexpected, because as I was telling you, I was imagining to see something different or to see something strange than usual, but I've never expected to see something real. I mean, we are on Earth, Doremi is just something fake, I mean, not something real, and they are just fans, following their memories, and that's it. That was quite surprising. But anyway, these three main protagonists are called Mire, Reika and Sora. Mire has blue hair, Reika has yellow hair, and Sora has pink hair. And all of them, they are fans, super fans of Doremi. All these three women have their own stories. In fact, Mire is working for a trade company, and she is really important because she has a great career and she knows her potentials. I mean, she knows that without her, probably the company doesn't work so well. But at the same time, she's not satisfied. I mean, she prefers to find something else to do, and she prefers to probably to find another job and be happier. In the case of Reika, she's living in a tiny apartment outside of Tokyo. I mean, outside of Tokyo. In fact, she's living almost next to Hiroshima, on the opposite side of Japan, okay? And she's living a strange relationship with her boyfriend because she's giving him some money when he needs. He's unemployed and he would like to become a singer or a musician, but he is not successful enough. Let me say that even Reika doesn't seem to be satisfied over her life, and throughout the movie you understand the fact that she was abandoned by her father, and that made her become so sad throughout the years. And then we have Sora, who is university student. She had a sort of a training in a school because she would like to become a teacher, and in this experience she had a bad encounter. I mean, she met a tiny boy who was supposed to be her private student, but he didn't like her so much, and later we will understand why. So she couldn't find the proper approach with this student, and she started having like a sort of a trauma about this, but she wants to learn more and more, and she hopes to become a great teacher. So as you can see, all of these three protagonists have a sad life, or they are not satisfied about their lives. So there is something missing. So one day Sora decides, okay, I've heard this news that there is this house of Doremì. Because let me tell you one thing, the house of Doremì you see in each episode or even in this movie really exists. And in fact, the author of Doremì took inspiration in order to make it a setting, a perfect setting, in which Doremì and her friends meet and they can become Majo. Sora decides, okay, let me go and check this house. In fact, she's seeing in front of her the house, and she's saying, oh no, this is the house of Doremì for real. It's perfect and it's the same. But when she is almost going inside the house, I mean, she is passing through the gate, and she is almost in front of the entrance door, she finds Reika. Suddenly, these three protagonists don't know one another, so they have never met before, but suddenly, as if it's a fate's decision, Sora finds Reika in front of the entrance door too. So she is telling her, oh, what are you doing here? I mean, she was surprised to find somebody else over there. And later, even Mire arrives. In fact, she is finding the news on the website on her smartphone, and she reaches that place. But when she arrives over there, she is finding Reika and Sora in front of the entrance door. So this is really important because in real life, this happens. When we meet a person, in my opinion, it's not just a coincidence. It's because fate or destiny decides that that person can give us something, or that specific person can change our life. I think that's the perfect example. All three, they start talking randomly, and later they will become friends. You will see throughout the movie how each character can change the life of the other two, etc., etc. This is really common in life, and I personally liked this thing in the movie. I think you all have experienced something like that. You have met a person in your life who changed your life, or you met a person who created bad experiences in your life, but it was useful somehow because you could grow up, you could experience, and you could become more mature than before. So everything has a purpose, and also this meeting definitely has a purpose. They started talking, and suddenly all of them, they are taking out from their pockets the Majodama. The Majodama, they are these tiny balls that are frequently used even in Doremi in order to transform, in order to become witches. Each of them has a different color, and it's like as if it's a portrait of destiny also in that case, because if they had the same color, we say okay. But one of them had the blue color, the other one had the yellow color, and the other one had the pink color. So it seems okay, now we are about to watch the transformation or something like that. But no, it's not happening throughout the entire movie, because this is not the real life. This is just what we create in our own mind, and it's like a sort of a fantasy world where we can find a sort of shelter when we are children and get affectionate to this, and when we become adult we still remember what happened when we were 10 or when we were 8 years old, etc., etc. I think you all remember your past and what you played so nicely with, who was your favorite character, who inspired you a lot, more than others. So I think it's quite common and very, very beautiful to see that even in a movie you can recreate this atmosphere. Then after they understood that they have these fake, let's say, Majodama, because they are just gadgets. They are not real. It's like as if you go into a gadget store here in Tokyo and you find lots of gadgets, or you buy a katana like Demon Slayer. That doesn't mean you become a slayer, but it's like as if these Majodama gadgets helped the situation. They can become friends because they have something in common. That's how real life is. When we find the people, they have something in common with us, automatically we start becoming friends. We start talking, we start sharing thoughts, memories. This is an initial thing in order to create something deeper. They start going out together, they start knowing one another more and more. We see this development of these relationships, and it's quite amazing. Yeah, it's really beautiful. And throughout the entire movie they are talking about Doremi. Ah, do you remember in that episode what happened? Oh, do you remember when Doremi went over there? Ah, do you remember when they used something we also do, because we anime fans, we like to sometimes to talk about anime, and we say, oh, do you remember that episode? That was really amazing. Or, ah, do you remember when they used this and they showed Majodama? Oh yeah, absolutely, I remember, and my favorite scene was that. It's something real. And I think this was one of the most important parts of the movie, because even if you feel affection for a fantasy world, or for a specific favorite movie, specific favorite anime scene, etc., etc., you don't have to feel alone, or you don't have to feel inferior than others, because there are many people who are going to judge you just because you follow anime, or just because you follow that specific movie and you buy lots of gadgets and stuff like that. Why I say this? Because nobody can judge you for what you are and for your decisions. So I think that if you're an anime fan and you're watching this video, please go on doing like this, because in the world there will always be somebody who can understand you, who can understand your passion, who can share your passion with you. So even if they are going to judge you because of this, they are just stupid people who don't have other things to do rather than judging others. That's their own job. But in this case, we understand, don't feel inferior, don't feel as if you're nothing just because you follow these things, even after so many years, because you will always find somebody who thinks the same and who makes you believe, oh, I'm not alone in this. Okay, later they are starting traveling together. Yeah, there was a moment in which Reika was saying during a trip they are making, okay, I would like to see if I can use magic for real, if I can become a Majo for real, even if this is the real world and that's the fantasy world, if I really wish something. And I say, I mean, what Doremi usually says, let's see if this wish can come true. And let's see if this is possible, even if I know it's not reality, but I would like to try myself. I would like to see if my mind can create this wish and make it become true, because if I really want something, then it will happen somehow. So she is taking her Majodama and so she is starting saying la 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 la. I don't remember the exact words. In her wish, she is saying, I hope to find my father once again. I wanted to see him. Her parents divorced, and here in Japan there is this culture of divorce that is a little bit different from other countries. That means if a couple decides to divorce, then one parent, in this case most of the times the father, is about to leave and he doesn't meet the children anymore. So he is able to make another family, to go on with his own life, forgetting about the previous child or the previous children. That's quite sad, because I think that's a huge problem here in Japan. Many kids are growing up with one parent only and they don't have the chance to meet the other parent anymore. It's like just cutting a relationship like this. As if you have a yarn and you cut the yarn, okay, That's it. She's starting doing this and she's starting praying or wishing this thing. And suddenly there is a boy passing next to her and he is pushing her a little bit because he was walking. We are in front of a temple or something like that. We are in a sort of garden, a Japanese typical garden, let's say. And the Majodama falls down. This Majodama is going from one street to the other one. Reika, Mire and Sora, who are all together in this trip, they are trying to catch this Majodama as much as they can until this Majodama finishes inside of a backpack of a young lady, of a young baby girl. Reika decides to follow her because she wants the Majodama back. This baby girl is reaching a hospital. Of course, she is together with her mother. When her mother is asking the nurse some info regarding this specific patient, when Reika is hearing the name of this patient, she realizes that it's her father. Her father is sick and he is about to die. And Reika stops the baby girl asking the Majodama back. And once she receives it, she's hearing of this name, that means her father's name. So she decides to reach the hospital room of her father, and once she's seeing him, she's petrified because she can't even recognize him. The sickness changed his face so much. She starts remembering all the times she spent time with her father, the bad memory when she separated from him forever, and that was quite sad. Suddenly she's saying, look, I am Reika, and she's also saying her last name, so the father can understand that it's his daughter, but he is also in front of his new family with his new wife and his new daughter. He prefers to say that she made a mistake, that he is not the person she is searching for, and that was quite painful because Reika in that moment understands that there's no chance to go on with that relationship and that the ties are cut forever. But I think that her father did this because he didn't want her to suffer so much, and he preferred to let her go away also because he was about to die. It would have become painful 2 times for her. It's hard to understand these decisions because usually we stay on the side of Reika, but I can also understand the other side, even if it's quite coward or it's quite selfish. I think it has even another meaning. That means, yes, it's not true that I don't care about you, but I prefer that you don't suffer anymore to see me like this. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but I think so. I think that was the best decision. As you can see, she was praying, I mean, she was wishing and she had the Majodama in her hand. Somehow you believe, oh, magic really made it. I mean, she was using magic. So magic exists. This movie started being real, but at the end of the day, we are going inside the Doremi's world? No. To put it simply, the message here is if you really want something, don't stop believing in what you think or in what you wish, because it only depends on you. And you are the key of everything. If you really want to go somewhere, or if you really want to do something, go on, push yourself. Don't underestimate yourself. Don't judge yourself too much, but push yourself. Don't give up and fight for what you want. And I think it was really greatly represented. I like this subject because many people are trying to push you down, many people are trying to judge you, many people are trying to say that you're not enough or that you will never be able to do this, you will never be able to reach this, etc, etc, etc. But it only depends on you. So if you want something, go and grab it, go and catch it. Don't feel inferior or don't think you always need something else or somebody else's help in order to reach it. You can do it even by yourself. It depends how much you love yourself. You believe in yourself. That's the only thing. You should go on and think you are able to reach something. You are able to do something. That nothing is impossible. And in fact, Reika's example clearly lets you understand this. Even if it seems that it is thanks to fate, but no, I think sometimes we don't need just fate, and we don't need its help. We need to be more self-confident, and somehow we will reach that goal. And after she meets her father for the last time, she is arguing a little bit because she's quite sad, she's disappointed, and she's angry. And so she is talking bad to Mire and the Sora, but not because she really wants to, it's just because it's a post reaction. I mean, it's an after reaction after what she saw. After she was pushed away from her father, she decides to go back home by herself, even if the other two are trying to searching for her everywhere. The reality in which Reika is living in is difficult. She's living in this tiny apartment, and she's always used by her boyfriend because he wants money, money, money. Please, can you lend me some money? And stuff like that. Mire, that is the blue hair woman, she's 27. Okay, Reika, she's 22. Sora is 19, and Mire is 27. So Mire is the oldest. And she knows that while they were arguing, she said some bad things like, okay, so you don't believe we are friends, or you came here and you didn't do anything. At the end of the day, you should have said, yes, I'm your daughter, in front of all of them. I mean, in front of your father and in front of his new family. Why you didn't say anything? You wanted to reach the goal, and then when it's there for you, in front of you, you don't do anything, and you decided to give up. That's not good. I understand Mire's point of view, because she wanted to push her to say, okay, you wanted to reach this goal, go till the end. Don't stop in the middle, because it's pointless. I understand her. But on the other side, I understand the pain Reika felt. But anyway, Mire, she thinks she's guilty because she told these things in the worst moment. And she decides to go back and find Reika next to Hiroshima, where she lives, to find her apartment, to say sorry, to say to her that actually they are friends and she doesn't want to see her in pain. And she told her this because it was just an advice and not because she wanted to go against her. I found this so beautiful because even Mire, she didn't have lots of friends in her life, and she was always judged for the job she did, even inside the company itself. And this happens so many times. Here, another problem in Japan is the fact that there is always lots of harassment in companies, and you are always judged for the gestures you make or for the behavior you have. So you have to be really, really careful about your reputation, about how you are seen in front of others, what you do, what you say. The competition between colleagues. I mean, okay, I think it's quite normal also in other countries, but I think here in Japan is more underlined and you feel it more than other countries. Also, Mire's life in this case is quite difficult, and she doesn't have real friends. And once she met Reika and Sora with something in common that can be so stupid, like to be a fan of Doremi, in this case, as you can see, can open her eyes and see, okay, I'm not alone actually. I have two new friends, and I'm really happy of these relationships. And that makes me understand that if I wanted to change my life, I can. I was always alone before, and I only had my job. But right now, I can make friends, and that means that if I wanted to change my life, if I wanted to have another job, or if I wanted to change my job forever, I can, because nothing is impossible. Mire reaches Reika, she's saying sorry, they are making up. And she's asking Reika, please come and live with me in Tokyo, because I think you're lonely here, and you're not in the right place. But when they are going out from the apartment, they are seeing Reika's boyfriend that is coming because he wants to ask for more money, right? Mire protected Reika, and she was punching her boyfriend and saying, go away, don't come back here anymore. Let's say that Mire finally found a friend and she wants to protect her as much as she can. Reika moves to Tokyo, and now Reika and Mire are living together. Mire understands, okay, now it's time for me to leave that job and to do something else in my life. It's time to do what I really like, what really makes me happy. This is a great message too. Most of the times we are forced by other people to do what we don't want. And we are not brave enough to tell these people, look, I don't want to do this. I want to do something else. But in this movie, you understand that it's always depending on your decisions. It's always up to you. And no matter what other people will tell you behind your back, you don't have to care. You have to go on straight. If you want to change your life, you should be free to change it as much as you want, when you want, how you want, without other people's opinions trying to forcing you to think the contrary. That's the worst thing that people do sometimes. They try to convince you that what you do is wrong, that you have to change. If they say this for good, okay, fine, then that's perfect. I accept this advice and I really appreciate what you say. But when other people do it for bad because they want to demolish you, no, in that case, you don't have to care. You have to go on and do what you really want to do. So Mire is a great example of this. She decides to resign. I mean, she decides not to go on with her trade company. And when she's doing this, her colleagues or her superiors, they are astonished. I mean, they don't know what else to do right now because Mire, even if they didn't want to admit this, she was great and her job was really admirable. But as I told you, there is always a competition in a company and everybody wants to be the best. That's why when she resigns, she left all these people speechless because now they don't know what to do without her. So at the end of the day, you see, you are essential, but at the same time, you are also used by these people in the company in order to make them become better. I don't know if you understand what I mean. This happens so frequently here. And your talent is not recognized so much, or your talent is not recognized until you decide to change things. And then they come back and they say, please come back to this company, you're essential, etc, etc, etc. Until you change your mind and until you show them that you can become whatever you want, they don't give you this satisfaction to make you think you're great. It happens so many times. So Reika changed her life, and one important thing is that when Mire comes to visit her and to say sorry to her for her aggressive behavior, she is telling Mire, look, I have that painting over there on the wall, and that painting was given by my father when I was a little girl. And at that moment, you see a flashback in which Reika saw her father painting. She also was painting something, and she was painting, I think, Doremì and her friends or something like that. And she's giving this painting to her father, and her father is accepting this. He says, okay, look, you are giving me this painting and I give you this painting. And this painting with all flowers is so beautiful on the wall. So that's why she decides, okay, I will come to talk with you, as I told you previously. My real goal is to become a painter. That makes me happy and that reminds me of my father, who now probably is already dead. As you can see, Mire starts a new life because she resigns from the company and she wants to do something else. Reika starts a new life because she's moving from Hiroshima to Tokyo and she wants to become a painter and she's going to live with Mire. And then we have Sora's story. Sora's story is delicate because, as I was telling you, she was having a sort of a teacher training. She's also attending university and she has to pass this important exam in order to become an educator. She has a specific goal because the boy I was telling you at the beginning of the video had some mental illness. And the fact that she couldn't get in touch in the proper way with him created her a trauma, as I told you already. Her goal, her mission, let's say, is to go beyond this trauma, to push herself so hard. She wants to become a teacher of these students who have some problems, who have some mental illnesses, students who have disabilities. I mean, this is an amazing thing Sora wants to do. She is pushed by Mire and Reika to go and visit this student who now is transferred to another institute, special institute. And when Sora reaches his student, I think this student is 7 or 8 years old. I mean, he is like an elementary student, but he is special. So he's not attending an usual public school. He needs more attention than usual. Let's say that at the beginning of the movie, she has this sort of a piece of paper in which this student drew something, and she has always collected this piece of paper. When she met him again, she started a new way. She approached him in another way, And she made it. I mean, she could create a special relationship with this special student. She told him, can I help you writing? Look, wow, this image you see here in this paper is the same kanji of a turtle. Look, I'm going to show you. And she's going to draw. And by doing this, she is opening a new world to this student, that even if he has disabilities, you know that disabled people are the most amazing people in the world, because they are really special, not because they have disabilities, but because they have the opportunity to show you a different side of the world. And this is great. And when he saw this, he said, wow, oh, it's real, let me write more kanji in the future. So the goal was reached, because Sora wanted him to teach more kanji, more things, more important connections with the language, images and stuff like that. And I really think she made it. That's her new mission. At the end of the movie, we see that all these three protagonists made it. The most important theme here is the more you wish, the more you do, the more you will reach. I absolutely agree with this. Then throughout the movie, we see that they are making lots of trips, they are having fun, they are sharing experiences, they become closer and closer. And then one day they are traveling to Nara, Kyoto. During this trip, while they are taking the train, they are meeting a boy. Later they discover that he also is a fan of Doremi. They started talking together and he said, oh, I appreciate this because even even boys love the Doremi, not just girls. And I think this is really important as a message. I mean, in one sentence, he said something essential, that not just girls have to be fans of Doremi, not just shoujo or anime for girls can be for girls only, but I think that even boys are attracted sometimes and they are fans of these anime series, but they don't want to say anything about it because they are afraid to be judged, they are afraid to be bullied, and this is disgusting. I mean, I hope that in the future more and more boys are following shoujo, or they are following girls' stories or stories for girls, because even we girls or women are following shonen, that is a typical boys or male genre. So I don't find any difference. We can love different things without being judged all the times. That's quite stupid. Then he is getting along with them. They are having fun all together, but we see that Sora, she is almost falling in love with him. And now it's Sora's turn, and she's taking her Majodama, and she's wishing, okay, I wanted to declare my love. I wanted to tell him that I wanted to start a relationship with him, and I've never done this before. I wanted to be brave enough to do this for the first time, because I can do it. And she did it, but it didn't go well, because she was rejected. And even if she was rejected, I think that that was a step forward, because she did something she has never done. And no matter the consequences, she tried. And that was really, really important in order to grow up. Sometimes even if the answer is no, you tried at least. And I think this is really educational. I really loved this movie from many different points of view, because as you can see, these characters are really human, because they are representing one of us probably. But as you can see, thanks to Doremi, they could meet, they could change their lives, and they could do this even without real majo. I mean, even without magic, because the magic is inside of us. That really exists, on the contrary. At the end of the movie, they are next to a garden, next to a temple as well. They wanted to lay on the grass and look at the sky. There is a big moon. They started using altogether the Majodama. In that moment, okay, let me tell you honestly, I thought, okay, now Doremi is coming and they tricked us for the entire movie by thinking that it was the real world, but it's not. No, Doremi is not appearing, even if there were some chances to believe this, but no. They just wanted to do this because they said, okay, now we understood that if we look at the Majodama, the gadget we bought many years ago, we can see as if it's a real magic. Look, if you look at it clearly, we are the magicians of our life. We can think with our mind things that even if they don't exist, they can help us going on living, and they help us finding new purposes to reach. This gives us expectations, and this gives us hope. Because sometimes we need to think that there is something else, that the purpose of our life is not meaningless, but there is something else. So no matter in what you believe it, because if this helps you going on with your life, or if this helps you to become stronger or create new hopes and expectations for your life, believe it. Or if you want to believe that if you buy a gadget, this gadget gives you positive vibes or positive energies, it's up to you. It's your life. You can do whatever you want with it. Mire decides to open a store, and she decides to buy that house that inspired Doremi's house in each episode of each season. And she's buying it, she's creating a store, she's creating a cafe, she's calling it Maho Cafe, and she decides to live with Sora and Reika all together, to have all of their three activities in the same context, in the same setting that is the house. She's having this Maho Cafe, and outside you see Reika painting, people coming to drink a coffee or drink whatever, and in another room you see Sora making these special lessons to these special students. So I think it was really beautiful to see this. The same people who became your friends at the beginning and who helped you changing your life for better, at the end of the movie they are part of your life right now, and they don't go away anymore. And this is thanks to Doremi, to understand it's all connected. And suddenly, while they are doing all of their jobs, they see a strange figure inside the house. So they run inside the house and turn the face, they turn the corner, and they see Doremi and her friends looking at them. You saw it in the trailer too. That scene is not real. Doremi is not there. It's the portrait of their dreams when they were children. Because when they were children, they were wishing to become like Doremi. And this is the connection to the initial question Doremi asked them. What do you want to become? And at that time, when they were kids, they were wishing to become like Doremi. You see Mire, Sora, and Reika looking at their dreams when they were children. And you see these three tiny Majo next to Doremi and her friends. It's time to say bye-bye to the past. Even if you will always remember your past, and you will always remember what you were and what you did when you were a kid. But now you're an adult. And you can't become a magician, you can't become a witch. These three tiny Mire, Reika, and Sora are following Doremi in the sky. It was great. I think this movie was really, really emotional sometimes, essential, concrete, real, evergreen. In this movie, I think they didn't want to celebrate Doremi only, but they wanted to celebrate people and their possibility to be the magicians of their lives. Even Mire says the magic is inside of us, and we can use it whenever we want, however we want. That's real. You are the magician of your life. You can become the tiny little witch like Doremi, change the world for better. Your world, the world around you, but even the world of other people. You don't need special powers, you don't need to become something like a fictional character. You're special as you are, but you just needed to use the tools you have in the proper moment. My vote for this movie is 9. I appreciated it. It helps you. In fact, in the room, there were people who were, I think, 50 or 60 years old, 40 years old. Also in this case, like Demon Slayer and Violet Evergarden, in these anime movies, you can find yourself in one of these characters. And I really appreciated that here, people of different ages, they don't have problems or they don't feel ridiculous to go and watch these movies, because in all of these movies you can find a pearl of wisdom, or you can find something related to you. Okay guys, I think for this video that is it. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned because next month I will go to watch the live action of The Promised Neverland, and I will tell you my opinions and thoughts, of course, as well. Subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell, Bye guys, see you in the next video, and thank you for all of your support and love. See you.